Today is January 7th, and the New York Knicks are 4-0 in the OG Anunoby era. The Knicks are back. We also have some rumors to go over. I'm here joined by Chris. Chris, you know what to do.
Let's run that intro.
They're playing basketball. Basketball.
You're listening to the Knicks Nation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
What's going on, Knicks Nation? The New York Knicks are 4-0 to start this new year, 2024. They've beaten two of the best teams in the league. They've beaten the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've beaten the Philadelphia 76ers. That game was simply incredible. OG Anunoby has looked great to start this season, Chris, and I'm just loving what I'm seeing. I'm just loving what I'm seeing from the squad. Everyone is seemingly playing well. But Chris, what's going on, man? How you liking this new year, new Knicks?
This new year so far has been great. I mean, like you said, won our last 4 games with OG Anunoby here on the Knicks. What more can you ask for, right?
I mean, you can't ask for anything else. I mean, look, we beaten Philadelphia, and that game alone was, national televised vehicle. And OG Anunoby was on Tyrese Maxey for the most part. Embiid still pull up 30 and 10, and I felt like he had like a bad game. He had like 6 turnovers in that game, Chris. But look, Isaiah Hartenstein, we'll talk about him coming up. He's been simply incredible for this team. Julius Randle, he had that bad game versus Philly, but bounced right back versus the Washington Wizards. And then the consistent nature of OG Anunoby is just refreshing to witness. And then Jalen Brunson, Chris, I mean, the 1A, Jalen Brunson has simply been playing incredible, and that has led the charge in this run, honestly. So shout out to JB, man, balling out.
Yeah, JB has been, as advertised, right?
Yeah.
We all know this guy is an all-star. And, talking about all-stars, let's get our guys into the all-star game. Let's vote our guys into the all-star game. Vote for Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
It's a crime that Julius wasn't on the ballots to start, but let's get our guys in there.
Yeah, I think he was, 6th in forward finishes, 6th in votes, and I don't think Jalen Brunson was 6th, I think.
Brunson was 6th,
Yeah.
but Julius was not even on the ballot, which is
Wow.
insane.
And I feel like the national media has to do with that a little bit, but that's a conversation for another day. I mean, we take slings and arrows from the national media all day long. But Chris, man, OG Anunoby, your first reaction, 4 games in, 4-0. Anunoby has, obviously his defense has been, incredible for the Knicks. I have some stats here that will probably blow your mind. Some underlying things from OG Anunoby that has been incredible. And the Knicks are playing well. They're sharing the ball. Your first thoughts about OG Anunoby, his first full week as a New York Knicks. What do you like? What don't you like? What have you seen? And then I'll get my take about that.
Defense, the impact that he's having on the defensive end. I mean, you heard me say here, I was going, hey, RJ, OG, what are you really getting there except for a little bit of a better defender? I said that. No, he's way better defensively. Like one example, Minnesota game. I think they had a lob up to a Rudy Gobert, which normally would have got thrown down, no problem. But OG runs from the corner 3, and literally just knocks the ball away from Gobert. That's something we normally would never get. That's when my eyes opened up and I said, okay, this guy he's a menace defensively. You put him on the best player, you switch him off on anybody 1 through 5. We saw him take it to Cat and was able to stop Cat. This guy he's elite defensively. So, and offensively, hey man, he's still giving us solid contribution from the offensive end. He makes the smart pass, he drives in and doesn't force it. He's a smart player. I like what I've seen so far, man. He's becoming a favorite of mine already.
For sure, fan favorite. The Knicks are 4-0 in the OG Anunoby. I probably said that about 5 times already, but sorry for repeating myself. And in these last 4 games, he's averaging 12 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, and he is plus 87. He's plus 87, best on the team. And then the New York Knicks are 4-0 with OG Anunoby. Yeah, I mean that first game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, we saw right off the bat. I mean, OG came out hitting his corner threes, playing great defense on Ant Edwards. And we're starting to see, like the game versus the Washington Wizards, we're starting to see the New York Knicks run more offensive sets for an OG Anunoby. You know, he's only been here a week. And, so I feel like his usage will go up, and I feel like his offense will, get better with time. It's just that right now we have Brunson and Randall playing at all-star levels. And, the way Brunson is playing, his usage is up as well. Randall's usage is up. Taking less threes for Randall, taking it to the basket. But yeah, I'm just loving the camaraderie of everything. And we're hearing the Knicks players say like OG knows how to share the ball, and OG knows where to pick his spots on the court. So we're hearing that from the Knicks players, and it makes you wonder like, is that kind of like a jab at the guys that went out, or simply an RJ Barrett? I mean, who knows?
Oh man. I hope not. It sounds like it, but I hope that's not the case. Look, I still stand by what I said when the trade went down. OG I think is good for the Knicks, just as good as I think Quickly and RJR for Toronto.
Yeah,
and it looks like the trade paying off for both teams, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whenever Toronto strolls into MSG or whenever we play Toronto, of course I want the Knicks to win, but I'm happy that RJ and Quickly, they seem to be doing well. And more importantly, we're 4-0 since we got OG Anunoby.
That's the most important thing that matters, and we're playing really well. Hit some of these comments in the chat. Samuel, salute from Puerto Rico. What's going on, Samuel Cortez?
Puerto Rico.
What's going on? Let's go. Lion says RJ got 26 at the half. Yeah, I think RJ Barrett is currently balling right now against the who are they playing? The Warriors. So yeah, respect to RJ, respect to the guys, but Chris, some nerd stats. When OG Anunoby is on the court, his efficiency differential, that's team points scored per 100 possession minus team points allowed per 100 possession. Sorry to get nerdy on you guys, but it is plus 46.4. That's crazy. So when he's on the court, the differential is insane. And his defensive points per possession is minus 38.6. So obviously we know he's a great defender. The numbers show it. And the Knicks defensively have picked up as a team as well. Over the past 4 games, they've been playing well. And the proof is in the pudding, Chris. I mean, it was a problem before the OG trade, the defense. And now to start the new year, it seems like, they're starting to gain their footing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw that trend, right? Before the trade, teams started scoring over 100, 110, 122 on us. Mm-hmm. And, that's scores that we're not used to, right? This Knicks team is built on their defense. If they're not playing defense, then, can we score with the best of them? Sure. But everything has to go perfect, basically, for us to outscore a team, basically, without us playing good defense.
Yeah.
So having OG, man, it just turned things around. And again, this is without Mitchell Robinson, right? Which we could touch on a little bit later. iHeart playing out of his mind, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah, I mean, we have a question about iHeart too. But yeah, offense, the New York Knicks as a team, points per possession are 124 and a half. Efficiency field goal percentage is 57%. Defense, their efficiency field goal percentage on defense is 50.75. That's good. Points per possession allowed, the New York Knicks as a team is 103.7. That is within the last 4 games. That is with OG Anunoby. The Knicks are 4-0 with OG Anunoby on the court. And Chris, Jalen Brunson has simply been shooting the lights out. He's shooting 44% from 3, 48% from mid-range, and 54% from corner 3. That's crazy. And Dante DiVincenzo, if I were to tell you he's shooting 51% from corner 3s, Chris, what would your reaction be?
Thank God it wasn't a fluke. There were a lot of questions about DiVincenzo, man. A lot of people thought he was like a crazy overpay. And again, why are we getting another guard? We got Quickly, X, Y, and Z. But, Was he going to be able to shoot? Was he a product of, the system? And no, it looks like this guy can really shoot, man. Shout out to DiVincenzo. He's another one of my favorites now because, man, he just lets it rip, and more times than not, like you said, 51% from corner threes. To me, he seems like 50% from all over the court, but he's been a great addition to this Knicks team.
That is crazy. Half of the time from he's making his corner threes. That is, and then he's shooting one of the best 3-point per shots in the league. But Chris, Deuce McBride, all the talk about, we'll talk about some trade candidates coming up here soon. We have Malcolm Brogdon rumors that we'll touch on as well. But it seems like Deuce McBride got the memo. He heard the noise, and that game versus Philly came in hot, 4-4 from 3, shooting the lights out. And then last game versus Washington had a putback jam. Hey, who's to say the Knicks don't do anything at the deadline and they think Deuce is the answer? I'm not saying that's the case, but these past couple of games for Deuce, and I'm just happy that he's gotten his opportunity to shine. His opportunity, we all know, what he was capable of. When the trade first went down, the bench unit. Still at times the bench unit looks kind of clunky. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like last game versus Washington, we had Tom Thibodeau sort of went away from his rotations. He played Randall and Brunson the entire third quarter because the Wizards cut it to 6. But Chris, your thoughts on Deuce? Miles McBride, man, taking advantage of his opportunity, and what's your thoughts on that?
I like it, man. Early on, initially I had said I thought, Deuce McBride was going to be one of the guys to get some minutes going forward, obviously with the trade, in spite of quickly not being here and maybe giving Jalen Brunson some rest. And the first few games that he got in there, he looked terrible, man. It was just the offense was stagnant. You could see him hesitating. He didn't know. It almost seemed like he didn't want to make a mistake. He was scared to make a mistake.
Yeah.
But as of recently, man, he came, like you said, against Philly, he came out 4 of 4. He sparked us like ridiculous. Like it was insane. And I was excited, man. I was excited for McBride, man. He's a hard worker, plays his ass off on defense. And man, if that offense comes around like that, not saying that this is going to be every single time he steps on the court, but teams got to honor that now, And I think the biggest thing for McBride is play with confidence. Don't be scared to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I love what I'm seeing so far. And who knows, man? This is why the Knicks have kept him around, right? They see something in him, and hopefully he continues to develop into a solid player for us.
Yeah, exactly, man. Shout out to Deuce. Keep taking advantage of the opportunity. But look, trading deadline is in about a month, right? And we're having rumors. Roach said the Knicks aren't done trading. Jake Fisher said the Knicks aren't done. Have some comments in the chat said 007, what's going on? What's up, guys? When is the next trade coming soon? Evan Best says Brogdon would be perfect alongside Deuce. I think Brogdon had a good game today versus the Brooklyn Nets. So, Chris, I'll give you a question. Alan Hahn brought up a question on his show. So which would you choose? And in the chat, you guys can chime in as well. Door number 1, Donovan Mitchell. Door number 2, DeJounte Murray. I'm going to add another door to this. Door number 3, Malcolm Brogdon. Or door number 4, Patience. So door number 1, Donovan Mitchell. Door number 2, DeJounte Murray. Door number 3, Malcolm Brogdon. Or door number 4, Patience.
You know what? I still think DeJounte Murray still intrigues me a lot.
Yeah.
I get it. In Atlanta, he's playing alongside Trae Young, and people want to say, look, Jalen Brunson is just as small. If it doesn't work with, Trae Young, why would it work with Jalen Brunson? I get that 100%. But I still feel just having OG Anunoby, Isaiah Hartenstein, those two guys anchoring the defense right now, and then you add DeJounte Murray, who early on in his career was a really good defender. He's gotten away from it a little bit, if you want to say. I think just paired up with those type of individuals will light a fire, We'll get him playing back to the defense that we know he's capable of. And to me, that solves a lot of issues playing alongside a smaller player like Jalen Brunson. So to me, I would go for DeJounte Murray. That's what I think. I don't think he's going to cost you as much as a Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, look, if you pick up a DeJounte Murray, it doesn't work out. You got to be smart enough to know when to cut ties and flip him for something better. He's still a young player.
Yeah.
Who's going to have value.
That's the thing with DeJounte Murray. You can always flip him because he has a team-friendly contract. He signed an extension this summer. So if it doesn't work out, the Knicks can turn around and flip him. Obviously, we still have that clutch aspect with DeJounte Murray. Not saying, that's going to prevent the Knicks from trading with the Atlanta Hawks, but it seems like the Hawks are open for business, and Murray's name, it seems like he's going to get traded. Whether it's the Lakers, whether it's the Knicks, who knows, right? But I see it with DeJounte Murray. I see the Knicks going that route just because of his team-friendly contract. And if it doesn't work out, they can always flip into another team and say, hey, we got this all-star guard. He was an all-star. He's on a good deal. He's still putting up good numbers. He's a good player. He's not a slouch, right? So I see that aspect of it. But the door I'm picking, I would pick Brogdon, but the thing about Brogdon is if you guys take a look at his contract, he's owed $20 million this year, and he's owed $20 million next year, over $20 million next year. And the thing about Malcolm Brogdon, Samuel in the chat says door number 1, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, that's the obvious door, right? Donovan Mitchell, right? But it's just
that one too.
The avenues of getting that done, Chris, is going to be hard for the Knicks, to say the least. But who knows? But the thing about Brogdon is, oh man, Brogdon would be such a good piece on this team. Like, he would. Yeah. Like, coming in off the bench, spelling Brunson. He's been there, done that. Obviously, he has durability issues. He could hit the three. He's a good defender. The thing is, do you care about that $20 million owed to Malcolm Brogdon next season? When you have guys like Hartenstein that needs to be re-signed. OG Anunoby needs to be re-signed. And now you have Brogdon on your books. I mean, I'm sure you can get that done. I'm sure you can fit it all in. But if the Knicks feel like Brogdon is a piece that will push them further, I say go for it, because we'll figure all the stuff out later because the cap is continuing to rise. And OG Anunoby, we're going to talk about his contract coming up in a bit. But if the Knicks can fit Brogdon in here, Chris, I think that's a perfect fit. But yeah. What are your thoughts about Brogdon?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The contract is the scary part about it. I mean, we got guys that are coming up that are going to need, new contracts.
Yeah.
And, you don't want it to be the case where you get Brogdon and then, you're kind of out of a running to get a top type of guy. A lot of people don't think we have much left to get a top guy, but, I don't think that's the case. But I would hate to get Brogdon and then be at a point where we can't sign somebody just because, we have a couple of extra million on our books.
Yeah.
So the money is crazy, but hopefully we could get a Brogdon and still make something work out, right?
Yeah, because I was like, wow, Brogdon would definitely fit, and Portland would definitely be open to trading him because Portland isn't going anywhere. So I'm sure Brogdon's going to get dealt at the deadline. But that contract, you're not going to – I don't think you would have to give up that much. Maybe you would have to give up, a Fournier and a protected first-round pick for Brogdon. I think the money works in that regard. But would they want to – I don't think I would give up Grimes. I mean, I'm sure they would haggle over Quentin Grimes with the Knicks because they're like, these protected picks we don't really like. We like a young player, Quentin Grimes. So, trade Quentin Grimes to us. Obviously, we're rebuilding. That frees up a rotation piece because then if you trade for Brogdon without giving up Grimes, then we're in the same boat as we were in with a Quickly and a Barrett, So that's where the New York Knicks kind of have to think about like what is best for the team right now. And Quentin Grimes, I mean, we came into this thinking that, this trade will open up minutes for Grimes, and versus the 76ers, he played really well. And two out of the 4 games, Grimes offensively has been there. I mean, he's been the Quentin Grimes who we were accustomed to seeing last season, So do the Knicks just simply say, we keep this team, we wait until the summer, see what shakes out, see what OG Anunoby is going to, cost us. I don't know what they do. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do,
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean that's the other avenue, in my opinion. The waiting and being patient, seeing how things play out.
Yeah.
And again, the the door number 4 to wait, is practically door number 1 as well, right? Because the more you wait, the more you could get Donovan Mitchell in here.
Yeah.
So if he hits free agency, that is, who knows what happens. But I think that's also a good route to go. I mean, just see how things shake out. But with that said, we are 4-0 since OG has been here, so I kind of want the Knicks to be a little bit aggressive, and kind of just go for it, right?
I kind of do too.
Who knows what's going to happen next season, man?
I kind of do too. Hit some of these comments in the chat. Rick, what's going on? Out of all the players available, Malcolm's the better fit. Devo in the starting 5 is butter. Build the bench. LV, what's going on? Great. I always appreciate you, LV, in the chat. Make sure you guys check out LV live as well. But I gave Chris and you guys 4 options. Door number 1, Donovan Mitchell. Door number 2, DeJounte Murray. Door number 3, Malcolm Brogdon. Or door number 4, just be patient and wait until the summertime and see what shakes out. Because as of right now, the way the New York Knicks are playing, new year, new Knicks, Isaiah Hartenstein is playing out of his mind. You got to figure out what he's going to command on the open market. I guess we can go into the Hartenstein situation now a little bit, Chris, but Hartenstein has been playing really well with the starters. And, if you go for door number 1, a Donovan Mitchell, or if you go for like a bigger fish, the Knicks say that they think that they have the assets to get another superstar or star in here. You're not getting that done without including Mitchell Robinson this year. You're not going to get that done. They're going to haggle over you about the picks. They're going to haggle over you about Mitchell Robinson. And the Knicks have to ask themselves right now. It's a tough question, and it sucks that Robinson is hurt right now because he was playing so well. But they really have to ask themselves, like, one, they don't know if Hartenstein is going to re-sign with them. So that's a whole nother situation. He can just sign with somebody else. Somebody else can offer him a massive contract, and then, then we have Mitch, right, for another 2 years, I believe. But, they have to ask themselves, if we were to, trade a Mitchell Robinson, are you comfortable in playing Isaiah Hartenstein at center? Because the way he's playing right now, whew.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein, Isaiah Blockenstein, all of a sudden he's blocking everything left and right. He's been playing incredible, man. It makes you think, right? Mitchell Robinson, look, he was playing phenomenal this season before he got hurt. Talking about all defensive, but with with Isaiah Hartenstein just playing just as well, if not even better right now for us. Does that make Mitch expendable? I mean, you gotta, if the Knicks had a deal in front of them to get a star, and the roadblock was including Mitchell Robinson, I think that's kind of a no-brainer at this moment.
Yeah.
Then you turn around and you try to sign iHeart, and then you got to find yourself a backup big. But I mean, in my opinion,
tough question.
I like the way it's hard because I love Mitch, but I really like the way this unit has been playing. With iHeart, he's a little bit more mobile, and he just look. Not to say that Mitch didn't give his heart out every time he was out there, but it seems like they're basically the same player. You're not missing a step there.
Look, the way offensively they look good. Hartenstein is a gifted passer. That's an underrated game of his. That's not an underrated part of his game. You could say offensively he's a better fit, but I guess we're just all prisoners in a moment. It's just we're trying to figure out ways to think about if another team approaches the Knicks, what would they ask for? If they were going to acquire that's just like a Donovan Mitchell. I'm sure if they were to get a DeJounte Murray, I'm not sure they would haggle over Mitchell Robinson, but then again they could. But the Atlanta Hawks, it seems like they just want picks. Like they just want picks, match the contract. If we're gonna haggle over Grimes, so be it. But I don't know. It's tough, man. It really is, because Hartenstein has been playing his butt off, and it's really, a lot of Knicks fans are, not a lot, but the question I'm seeing on X, on Twitter, at Knicks Nation, I'm seeing that Hartenstein's play is making making Knicks fans, he could be a starter. He could be a starter, and
Yeah.
he's playing. Like
I mean, I think ideally you want to keep both of those guys, right? Because that's the kind of, I think this actually helps us out in the long run, because now you got Hartenstein, you got a lot of guys that are just, almost everybody is integrated and used to playing with each other to some capacity, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing Brunson get staggered with the bench unit. You're seeing it happen with Randall as well. And when Mitch comes back, I think that's just a plus for us. You got iHeart capable of playing with anybody on that court.
Yeah.
And I think that just makes us better. Like, I think we want to keep those two guys, but will Hartenstein eventually, will he want to start somewhere? Again, he's playing at this level. Who's to say another team out there won't take a flyer on him?
Yeah, here's some of these comments really quick. Just Cameron says, what's going on? Just worried because the East right now is tight. I hope the Knicks don't end up being an 8th seed, even if they end up winning a lot of games. Don't think that's going to happen, Cameron. I think the New York Knicks are, right now they're playing really well. Be two of the best teams in the NBA, Timberwolves and the 76ers. So I feel like, and look at our schedule coming up. I mean, the whole month of January, the end of January into February, we're in Madison Square Garden for the majority of those 2 months, and it's about time, because the NBA kind of screwed us with the schedule. But I feel like the Knicks can, get fat on some victories in MSG. JP the Great says, have y'all talked about Taj being waived? I'm just tuning in. Yes, Taj Gibson has been waived from the New York Knicks. It frees up a roster spot. I think they're down to 14 players, but Taj Gibson, the GOAT. Not the GOAT, but we all love Taj. Wish him nothing but the best. I think he's gonna go into coaching. Tom Thibodeau hinted at that, I think last game, but he came in here, did what he was supposed to do. He's a warrior. Gotta love Taj, and wish Taj nothing but the best, man.
Yep, absolutely. Taj Gibson, came in and helped us out the best he could, right?
Yeah.
We all saw it. He wasn't in the greatest shape, but he left it all out on the court, man. And it'll be nice, man. It'll be nice to see Taj Gibson on the bench with the Knicks, maybe a mentor role, something like that.
Yeah. Rick says,
shout out to Taj Gibson.
Rick says 4 years, $72 million for Isaiah Hartenstein. Chris, what are you thinking about that? Because look, 4 years, that's a lot, man.
That's isn't that more than what Mitch got?
Yeah, Mitch got 50. So
I think didn't Mitch get like 60?
50 or 55 or 60. I think you're right. Probably 60.
I don't think I go that high.
Yeah, I don't think
I go that high, because look, I mean, iHeart is playing out of his mind, but you can't just pay him based off of the first. If he keeps this up till the rest of the season, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you might have to pay that man that amount. But as of right now, I can't see it going. I can't see it going past like 50, maybe 55.
Yeah. If he keeps this up, I could see it, because he's going to command something from the open market. But yeah, I mean, 007 says Hartenstein is going to get the bag. Yes, he is going to get the bag. LV says, I mentioned I would not be surprised if Leon picks Mitch in a deal and gets a big time star, because they like how iHeart is playing. And then I think somebody said offense looks better with iHeart. That was you, LV. But somebody said Randall looks better. Randall plays better with an iHeart. Spider says Randall plays better with Hartenstein. Mitch just clogs the lane too much. So you see, it stinks, because I don't want to, Mitchell Robinson, obviously he was playing so well, and I just feel like it's true. I mean, Hartenstein, the way he's playing right now is incredible. And, the way the Knicks are looking offensively, it took them some games to look like this. But, yeah, man, I mean, it's like LV Live in the chat said, it's going to be interesting if the Knicks, because that other team is going to want Mitchell Robinson. They're going to want Mitchell Robinson and picks. Mitchell Robinson, Grimes, and picks, if you're going to get another star in here. And I feel like the Knicks can't afford to do that, because then you essentially have a team of Brunson, insert whoever in the starting shooting guard who they acquire, or if it's DiVincenzo, or if you do it like a little move like a Brogdon, like we talked about, Anunoby, Randall, Hartenstein. We have a Hart off the bench, and then we have a good bench, and then we just build from there. Then are you competing with the Boston? Are you competing with a Milwaukee? Who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it. I still feel like, I'd rather have iHeart and Mitch on the same team, man. One spells the other, and you just don't lose a step defensively as far as protecting the paint. I think that's just, look, if we're not going to have that stretch five type of player, I think this is the perfect combo to have, in my opinion. So I'm trying to hold on to them as long as I can.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to hold on to them, but if Leon Rose sees a deal, he's gonna strike. And look, I mean, he pulled the trigger for Anunoby. Knicks are 4-0 with Anunoby. We opened up this podcast talking about how the Knicks have gotten to a 4-0. But yeah, just chopping it up on this Sunday evening. If you're new here, so smash that thumbs up on, subscribe to the channel. As always, appreciate every single one of you in the chat. We're on Apple, Spotify as well. We'll be releasing this after the live stream. But make sure you go out and vote for the New York Knicks to the All-Star game as well, man. Make sure you vote for the New York Knicks. I'm sure Knicks fans are doing their part. It's just that, Knicks take a bunch of slings and arrows from the national media, and I feel like, the Knicks aren't that popular right now. But, yeah, make sure you go out and vote for Brunson, Randall. I'm voting for Anunoby. I'm voting for all the Knicks. Like, that's just what I'm doing.
Just put the Knicks on the ballot. Any Knick, put them on the ballot. Don't even vote for the West.
Don't even vote for the next. Carlos in the chat says, guys, Hartenstein needs to stay with this group, period. He is balling. Don't forget about Isaiah Hartenstein, too. He's very durable. Like, he played all 82 games last season. That's an underrated, that's as long as he's a good passer, he's a good offensive player. The offense flows better, with him in the lineup. Defensively, he's blocking Rudy Gobert 3 times at the rim. He's blocking Joel Embiid at the rim. And he's playing every single game. He's getting cut up, Chris, every game. Seems like every game he's coming out for like a cut. He's getting
I was just going to mention that.
He's getting punched in the mouth.
He has blood all over him.
And he's playing like this. So,
yeah.
Got to give credit where credit's due, man.
He's playing amazing, man. Yeah. Like he's getting, I mean, he has these games, 19 boards, 18 boards, 20, 22, 20. It's insane, man.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about Hartenstein, but you got to keep him, man. I feel like you got to keep this guy. You got to, the Knicks have to have him as a priority to re-sign.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have his rights. We'll have OG Anunoby's rights as well. B. Willis in the chat. iHeart playing against Mitch in practice made him a better player. Yes, you can throw that out there as well. Big Taz, man. What's going on, Big Taz? Is it possible they can keep both? They can. They can keep both. But, what Chris and I were bringing up to you guys is if they, were to get another quote-unquote guy in here, they say they claim to have the assets that will get that deal done. And if you're just going to throw them Grimes, Fournier, and a bunch of picks, who's to say another team will probably just be like, hey, give me Mitchell Robinson and Grimes. And then all of our youth would be essentially gone because we'll lose Robinson, Obi, Grimes, Barrett, quickly in the span of a year. That would be a shock if they did that.
That'd be insane. That would be insane. But look, I guess it boils down to who's the guy that we're getting, right?
Yeah.
Who's the star that we're getting in that deal, I guess it'll hurt less depending, if it was somebody we could really, use up in here. Like if you're telling me we're getting an Embiid or something like that, I'm not saying that we would for those pieces, but that would get me excited. I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to lose any more of these young guys that we got, but that's the way you move forward and you make your team better. You hope you're making the right moves.
Yeah, circling back to DeJounte Murray, here's why I like the Murray trade. You trade for DeJounte Murray, you bring him in here. Great contract. I think he'll fit well with this squad. But I feel like during the summertime, if it doesn't work well, or like let's say a Donovan Mitchell, the contract extension isn't working well, you can flip him. You can flip him for like let's say another trade. You can flip him like for Donovan Mitchell. I'm just saying there's ways where the New York Knicks can kind of play around with that. But that's one of the reasons why I like a Murray trade. But I feel like a Brogdon trade will make this team instantly better, like instantly. Like we're starting to play really well right now. Deuce is starting to play well. Hartenstein's playing well. Brunson is an all-star. He should be an all-star. And I feel like as time comes, OG Anunoby will start to, offensively, his game will pick up a little bit. Even at Toronto, he was kind of struggling. You brought this up in the last podcast. He was kind of struggling offensively with the Raptors because he was playing with a Siakam and a Scotty Barnes. So, hopefully his offensive game will shake out, right? You're not worried about that for OG?
I'm not worried about it because if you see the looks that he's getting, these are the corner threes. These are the, we're just recently we started seeing the Knicks running more sets for him, right? Because you got to remember this guy's coming into a new team, doesn't know the system. I know it's a read and react system, but doesn't know it as well as he possibly can.
Yeah.
And little by little, you're starting to see him get more and more involved. He's getting a lot of shots. He's getting a decent amount of shots up for the Knicks, but I'm not concerned. He's hitting like 1 of 4 threes here and there, but statistically, he's going to knock down those 3-point shots. I'm not too worried about OG. Again, his calling card is his elite defense, and that creates offense for us at the end of the day. So if he's scoring, that's fantastic, but his defense creates offense for us.
Yeah, he plays well off of Brunson and Randall. I mean, such a great high basketball IQ player. As time goes on, playoffs, he's going to be, amazing. And we're already seeing it, just in a week spans. We're seeing him run, I think last game versus Wizards, they ran him some sets like they were used to run RJ Barrett off curls and whatnot. So it's coming. His offensive game will be coming. LV Live says, with the Knicks moving IQ and RJ, that tells you that no one is off limits except Brunson and Julius Randle. This is their team. This past summer, I said it coming into the season, this is Jalen Brunson's team. And right now, the way Brunson and Randle are complementing each other, this is their team. And right now, they're building, they're building around them. They want to build around them. So cat rumors, the Randle included in the cat rumors, I don't think that's going to transpire. And you can forget all that, I think. Right? It's just, this is their team right now.
No, yeah. Look, with RJ being traded, I think that clearly shows that this is the team. They want to build around Randall. They want to build around Brunson, and throwing OG Anunoby there. Look, we keep hearing this. We've heard Jalen Brunson say a perfect fit. Julius Randle saying, perfect again. And look, again, this is another reason why I'm not worried about OG offensively.
Yeah.
It's more shots for Julius Randle. It's more shots for Jalen Brunson. But not only that, I feel like there's more space out there for them, right? Because OG, statistically, again, corner threes, he's taking the spot of RJ. They can't leave OG Anunoby out there by himself on an island the way they would with RJ when he's cold. So again, opens up the space, and you have Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson taking more shots and being efficient with it. So again, addition by subtraction. So OG is going to come around offensively. He's going to get more usage than he did in Toronto, and who knows, he might surprise us. He might go off offensively and turn into an even better player with us.
Yep. Yeah. Well said. Is this a year where Leon Rose just says, screw it, we're going all in? We're getting everybody. We traded our guys quickly, RJ, and now we still have the first round picks in the chamber, locked and loaded. Because don't forget, the New York Knicks have 2 first round picks upcoming in this draft. They have the Dallas pick and they have their own pick. So do you see them drafting 2 players and putting them in the rotation? You know, could be lose a Hartenstein. Not saying that will happen. You know, depending on how that situation goes, could be. But we have 2 first-round picks coming up this summer, and it's looking like the Mavericks pick will finally convey. I mean, after last year's debacle. But yeah, I mean that gives me the inclination, Chris. Like, I think they're going to trade at least one of those picks. Because I do think that we have to draft somebody in the first round. Right? Is that what you were about to say? Sorry.
I was about to say the same thing. I feel like we have to. I mean, what was the last player that we actually drafted? I mean, was it Keels or was he on? Was it Trevor Keels?
I forgot.
I forget, but
yeah.
Case in point, we have to draft a young player that we got to have something for the future as well. Yeah. So it wouldn't shock me if the Knicks, I mean, it really wouldn't shock me if we don't draft anybody, but I think ideally you still want to use at least one of those draft picks. And I think you have to include the other one in the trade. And it's time for us to use some of these picks, some of the draft capital we have and get that player, man, that next player that is going to take us to the top, man.
Yeah, so I do think they'll use one, and I do think they will draft because it's been, a couple of years now, like we said, that they've drafted in the first round. LV says way more spacing with OG, both Randall and Brunson can operate. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't expecting the Knicks to just, use Randall and Brunson way more, but it has simply been way more, and it has worked. Brunson's assist numbers, Chris, too. I mean, they've been up. Career high, 14 assists 2 games ago. Last game versus Wizards, I think he had 8 or 9 assists. Sharing the ball's moving. Offense just looks good.
Sticking.
It's not sticking. And we're hearing that a lot within the Knicks, Everyone's sharing a rock. Everyone's playing with everyone's playing within their strengths, not forcing it. So, I feel like we're starting to build there, and I like what I'm seeing from the squad. I really do. But Brunson's assist numbers, Chris, I mean, he got, a lot of Knicks fans said, oh, Brunson can't pass. He doesn't average. He can't pass like a Halliburton. But we're starting to see it from JB. He could pass. He's showing he could pass.
He had, 14 assists one of the past games alone. So, look, Jalen Brunson, he can pass the ball, but if the ball doesn't go in the basket after that pass, he can't get an assist, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I see that a lot. I've seen that a lot in the past. It's not like he's not looking for guys. It's just, it has to be perfect. If he passes that ball, the ball has to be made. So, Jalen Brunson, he's phenomenal, man. That's one knock on him that I just, I don't buy it, man.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, I'm sure he could get 10 assists every game.
And he's doing it. Spider says draft Bronny and get his daddy in here. Look, 2 first-round picks, draft one of them for Bron and get pair LeBron with Leon Rose. I don't know if Clutch Client would like that. But Evan Best says Taj is gone. So who is coming in? Is it Cat? Evan, what's going on? But no, it's not Cat, man. I mean, I don't know. It's not going to be Cat, Evan.
It'll be Sims. Sims is coming in.
Exactly. Knicks are nice. What's going on? Salute to you as well. Just chopping it up. I raised a question. Look, Knicks are playing well. Kind of reset the room a little bit. We came in talking well, talking high things about the New York Knicks. Are 4-0 to start the year. Schedule starting to lighten up here. We're home. A lot of games to end the month of January and February. And OG is was he plus 80 something in his first 4 games, something like that, averaging 12 points a game. And I brought up some nerd stats early on in the pod about OG's defensive points per possession, minus 38.6 when OG Anunoby is on the court. Efficiency differential, that is team points scored per 100 points per possession, team points allowed per 100 possessions, plus 46.4. Sorry to get nerdy on you guys, but it's good. It's good. When OG Anunoby is on the court, things are looking well for the New York Knicks. But I posed Chris a question earlier saying door number 1, Donovan Mitchell. Door number 2, DeJounte Murray. Door number 3, we get another, crafty point guard in here. Malcolm Brogdon, Tyus Jones didn't really have a good showing versus us in Washington. Or door number 4, just simply, kick the can to the summer, see what shakes out, be patient, and use your first round picks in the summer and see what the OG Anunoby contract looks like, see what the Isaiah Hartenstein's contract looks like. But if you're Leon Rose, we just beat Philly. I said Philly. we just beat Philly. I mean, 2 of the best teams in the East we just beat in the past week. Minnesota and Philly. Say what you want. Those are 2 great wins, Chris.
Yeah, those are wins that we needed. I mean, we kept hearing it a lot. The Knicks are only beating teams under 500. They don't have those signature wins, against the top tier. Well, there they are, Minnesota and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
2 of the best. So, things are looking good for us right now. And I think we're only going to get better.
Big Task says, I remember in this chat, we used to talk about OG Anunoby and we got him. We used to talk about OG so much. So much. And now he's on the New York Knicks and looking good. It is looking good. His offensive game will come. Knicks Tonight says OG is a glorified glue guy. He doesn't score enough. Clyde mentioned, Clyde took some shots at OG during the last game. I was like, all right, Clyde, relax. He's like, OG, you need to shoot that mid-range jump shot. I was like, at times OG can be a little bit too selfish, but I just feel like that's him trying to get acclimated with the new team. He doesn't want to, push anyone's buttons. He's trying to do the right thing, and maybe that's just him. Look, I've watched OG Anunoby a lot, but he is a selfish player, unselfish player. And he passes it to the open man, passes it to the right man. And look, the way he's playing, the way the New York Knicks are playing with him, let's go. LB Live says Knicks will make a move for a backup playmaker, but will hold all those major picks for a major move this summer. Yeah, we talked about it. Like a Brogdon, his contract, $20 million this year, $20 million next year. They're not gonna want anything crazy. They'll probably want 1 protected first. You match it with the Fournier deal. If they haggle with Grimes, I don't think I'm doing it. If you can get like a backup playmaker without giving up Grimes, but then Chris, we fall into the same rut of the guard situation. So that's the kind of thing that they have to ponder about.
That's true, but I really like the Brogdon look because you're replacing what you were getting from Quickly, right? You're getting a strong defender, you're getting someone who can shoot the 3 ball, and someone who can create a little bit, right? And I think that's the biggest thing we're missing right now is that other shot creator off the bench. We know Jalen Brunson can do it as a starter, Julius Randle could do it, but we're missing that piece specifically from IQ. He's able to go in there and create his own shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if it's not a Brogdon, I mean, like again, who do you think out there would be that shot creator type? Is it like a Kyle Kuzma type of player?
I don't see them going that route. I don't see them going that route. I feel like they like what they have in Precious. They like their rotation right now. I feel like they want to stagger Randall and Brunson. We've seen that clear as day. They want to stagger them. So I feel like, look, if we substitute Barrett and Quickly for an OG Anunoby and a DeJounte Murray or a Brogdon, you've upgraded your team. You've upgraded your team in that regard. And if let's say you only have to give up, like for a Brogdon, you're not going to have to give up a lot of picks. But a Murray, they may want first round picks for DeJounte Murray. Seems like they're trying to reset their whole team down in Atlanta. But it depends on who you're trying to go after. The Knicks have to really be choosy. Like they have to really be smart here. I feel like this next move is very important for this team because these first round picks, are you going to use them? Are you going to draft somebody? Are you going to trade them for like a Murray or a Brogdon or a Tyus Jones? Name has been out there. Or you just let Deuce ride out the season. Miles McBride ride out the season. And you just go from there, Chris. It's going to be interesting, this trading deadline in about a month. There's going to be a lot of movement. movement, I think, this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of avenues that we can take, and like you said, Atlanta has kind of, I guess waving the white flag. They're letting it be known that, hey, basically anybody outside of Trey Young is available. So, I mean, it'll be nice to get a DeJounte Murray in here, like you said, flip him if it doesn't work out. I'm excited, man. I really want to see if the Knicks are going to go out there and be aggressive. I think they will be. You
Yeah.
know, time will tell, but I think this is a good time for us to get another piece in there. You
Yeah.
know,
LV says we just need someone to hold it together so Brunson can rest. Tyus Jones is perfect and cheap. If you want to go that route, I mean, I don't hate it. He's not going to start. He's starting in Washington. I mean, the Wizards are an absolute mess. I mean, they came back in that third quarter, but I was like, dang, man. It honestly it sucks. Probably sucks to be a Washington Wizard fan right now. But yeah, that'd be a cheap option. I don't know, Chris. What are your thoughts about Tyus Jones? You like that?
he's a nice player, but I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not gonna like sit here and pretend like I know what he's been doing because I haven't. But he didn't show me too much out there when recently. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it, but you know. I think I would rather roll with a loose McBride. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit crazy in that regard, but he's been showing us something lately, and why not give him those spot minutes?
Yeah.
Let him improve some more.
Yeah, I mean, but in the playoffs, is that enough? Would that be enough? In a 7-game series, let's say we matched up. I think go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, come playoffs, JB is not gonna leave the court. You won't need a backup point guard.
You're right about that, man. He plays. What did he get? What is it? Game 5 where he played all 48 minutes. I mean, you're
Yep,
right about that. But no, I feel like they have to, whether that's starting alongside of him, but DiVincenzo, 50% from corner 3, one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA right now, and his defense has been good. He's a good crafty defender as well. He knows where to pick his spots and pick pockets as well. So, do you bring someone else in here to start? I think if you're bringing someone in here to start, it's obviously clearly DeJounte Murray. But if you're bringing someone in here to spell Brunson, then it's a Brogdon. And Brogdon, or who did I bring up? Jordan Clarkson. But, I don't know. Depends where they want to go to, Jordan Clarkson. You guys in the chat, you like Jordan Clarkson? Haven't mentioned his name.
What would they ask for a Jordan Clarkson? I thought I saw somewhere that they wanted like a first or something like that.
Yeah. They would probably ask for the moon. Like Danny Ainge is.
Yeah,
I
think
think
that's crazy, man.
I mean, he's a good player. I mean, he's bounced around the league a lot, but he's a scorer. That's what he is.
Yeah,
He'll come
he's
in.
not having his prototypical season, where
Yeah.
he's 6-man candidate and all that. But to ask for a first or two, I think that's a little bit, But then again, like you said, Danny Ainge, right?
Yeah, he'll haggle over something, but yeah. I mean, look, they can be patient. They can make a move. The way the squad has been playing to start this new year, it's honestly it's refreshing because it was doom and gloom there like 2 weeks ago. We got punched in the mouth versus the Magic. The Thunder loss was iffy, and then we just had to make a move. We did make a move, and OG Anunoby's impact on the court. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the numbers. I mean, and the offense will come. I mean, it will. We're still dropping like 120, 130 points a game. And, Jalen Brunson, he can keep this up. It's not like this is just like a hot streak. I mean, it is a hot streak, but this is who he is. He's going to have a couple of games where, he gets cold. He can't, like last week where he had that stretch of 2 weeks ago where he had that stretch of games where, his shot was off a little bit. But I feel like, obviously he's just playing at a whole nother level right now. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think we said it not too long ago. JB looked like he was tired.
Yeah.
Those floaters weren't going down. He was getting to his spots, but it was just short, or at times a couple of almost air balls. It was
Yeah.
like really weird. But since we got OG, man, I mean, things have just been clicking. And again, not worried about OG's offense because he's so good defensively that you don't need it.
Yeah.
Right now, you don't need it, but it
And
will come. That's
it's there. It's coming.
yeah.
You know,
Yep.
he's athletic and it is there. It is coming. 130 people in the chat. Appreciate every single one of you. We are live on YouTube. Appreciate every single one of you just chopping it up. Sunday night, Knicks are rolling. Vibes are good. Feeling good about this squad. We're just, trying to figure out what is that next move for the New York Knicks, for Leon Rose and the squad. But, the way the Knicks are playing now, let's say they, last season, Chris, we went on 8-9 game winning streaks multiple times that season. So look, 4-game winning streak, it's possible. And if Deuce keeps this up, I mean, I'm like what I'm seeing from Deuce, but I'm just concerned a little bit that, during the playoff time, it's like you said, Brunson isn't coming off the court anyway, but it's interesting. This is a very interesting time for the Knicks. We got OG, but I feel like this next move is going to really tell us fans and tell everybody that where the Knicks are thinking, like where are they trying to go? Are they trying to make the big splash, or are they just trying to build the pieces around Brunson and Randall and just trying to build a complete team and not worried about like a big three? They're just worried about putting the right pieces alongside Brunson, Randall, and OG Anunoby. That's going to be the next domino. Yeah.
And I think honestly, that's the right approach to take. Again, I don't think it has to be a top 5 superstar or anything like that. Just get the right piece in here.
Yeah. Buzzer Beater, what's going on? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to every single one of you in the chat. You can see us win 50 games. Yes, I can see us win 50 games as well. 007, Danny Angel want 10 picks and your grandkids for Jordan Clarkson. Look, obviously, all he wants right now is picks. I think the Jazz are like 1 game out of the play-in tournament, so who knows if they sell off. But I think he'll want picks for Clarkson. Buzzer Beater says Andrew Wiggins minus athleticism is RJ equals RJ Barrett. Throwing shots at RJ Barrett. Come on, Buzzer Beater. LV says, I love what we have. We just need that playmaker to help keep Brunson fresh, so when playoffs come, he is ready and not burned out. Yeah, I mean, let's say playoffs come, Chris, and I'm just, let's say this happens. I'm not saying it will happen. Let's say playoff comes, Brunson's balling, Randall is Randall in the playoffs. LV Live brings up a good point. Like, you need a guy scoring. Like, you need another punch, to score for the New York Knicks in the playoffs. But I'm just saying, if that were to happen, that's why LV Live brought that up. Because I feel like they're working towards that. They're working towards a deep playoff run.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. We're gonna need a little bit more firepower, especially if we're thinking about making a deep playoff run.
Yeah.
But who could that be? Is that a DeJounte Murray in your opinion? I think it could be.
If the New York Knicks go out and get DeJounte Murray, then would they dare have him come off the bench? Or would they keep Devo?
So.
Or would they keep Devo in there? Because the way we're playing right now, I mean, why switch it up?
You know what? If he was willing to do that, that would be fantastic, in my opinion, because then you're kind of addressing all your concerns, right?
Yeah.
You got a dynamic, you got a dynamic piece coming off the bench in Murray, who can create his own shot, plays defense, so he'll fit right in with that group. That would be great, in my opinion. But would Murray be willing to come off the bench? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Almighty, what's going on? Stop playing with my son. OG, what's good? What's good, man? Knicks and Knights beating Philly got the league scared. And it's funny, right when we beat the Philadelphia 76ers, who came out and said, oh, I'm getting excited about my New York Knicks? Stephen A. Smith, the guy who was trashing the whole team this whole season.
Man.
I can't with him.
I don't
Chris.
know, man. I feel like that's just an act or something.
It
Because
is.
like
It is.
he can't be a Knicks fan, and come on, some of those takes are just terrible, man.
Yeah.
Like the whole not being moved by OG Anunoby. Are you kidding me? Especially after his debut. Come on, man.
Yeah, Evan says Brogdon's IQ is like Brunson. Yeah, Brogdon, look, the thing that concerns you about Brogdon is obviously his durability. I think he got hurt last season with the Celtics when the Celtics were in the playoffs. So that's a something to ponder about as well. You know, you bring a Brogdon in, he gets hurt a lot. I mean, so but you know, they can go that route. They can go many different avenues. They can go many different routes they can choose from. LV says no way for DeJounte Murray, too expensive. We need something cheap because then you push all your chips in the middle of the table for a superstar this summer. Yeah, I mean, you bring that avenue in here, and look, if you're trading for a DeJounte Murray, you will have to give them picks, and then you're essentially trading away your first round picks for, you know, is that going to get you into the Eastern Conference? So you're essentially depleting your assets. But then I brought up the thing to Chris saying that you can flip him, you know, like if Cleveland is losing Donovan Mitchell, backs are up against the wall, you can easily say, look, we got DeJounte Murray here. We'll trade him to you guys, and you can go from there. But yeah, it's interesting, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I would take that gamble on DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a worthwhile risk, especially with, again, he's a younger player. You could flip him per se. Or, you know, do we just wait and try to get Donovan Mitchell? But again, we don't know what's going to happen the following season. In my opinion, I want the Knicks to be a little bit aggressive, and let's see what we can make happen this year, you know?
For sure. Appreciate every single one of you in here chopping about the New York Knicks. And next game is against Portland. Portland beat the Nets tonight, so we got to be cautious about that. Get it done at home. Take care of your business. You know, we're playing well at home, actually. The Knicks are, I think they're 11-4 at home. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're pretty good at home. But yeah, Chris, let's talk about this OG Anunoby contract before we wrap things up. So the reported contract that the New York Knicks from Jake Fisher, what was it? $118 million plus for OG Anunoby over 4 or 5 years. Yep. That's what you saw.
Yep. Over 4 years, they're saying he's gonna command 118 million plus. 118 being the low end.
Yeah. So that is a little bit over 30 million a year for OG Anunoby. You probably do a 3+1 player option. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I think 118 mil is about where I would think.
Yeah.
So, but OG Anunoby has come out. You know, there's reports saying that he would take a discount.
Yeah.
To stay with the New York Knicks. What that discount is, you know, there was a lot of numbers floating out beforehand before he got traded. The prior postseason, you know, they were saying that it was going to be 40 million a year for OG Anunoby. I thought that was insane. But look, if OG is going to take a team discount and give us, you know, a team friendly deal per se, you know, what would that number be to you?
I was listening to, who was it? I was listening to a podcast, and he was saying if the Knicks can get OG around 30 a year, then I feel like we that's good. I feel like that's good if we can get that done. Because don't forget, you have the Brunson extension coming up.
Yeah.
Randall's gonna want more money. Isaiah Hartenstein. So Knicks have to be careful here. But I feel like you make the trade for OG, you get him signed long term, because clearly that'll be a disaster if anything else were to happen. But yeah, OG, I feel like 30. I mean, the cap is going up as well. We have to think about that. Cap is going up, so the Knicks, you know, they'll still have some wiggle room to work with. Got rid of the RJ Barrett contract, so they're essentially looking at it like RJ was due 24-25 million a year. So if you pay OG $5 more a year than RJ Barrett, not too bad, you know. And then you
Not
don't,
terrible.
yeah. And then you don't have to pay for a quickly. You don't have to worry about that. LV says OG will give a family discount. Yes, got to take a pay cut, man, because this Brunson extension, Chris, it's gonna be a lot.
That's gonna be the max, man. He deserves it, in my opinion.
Yep. He definitely does, especially if he has another deep run, the deep run of the playoffs, which I'm expecting him to have, and his playoff numbers are absolutely out of this world. Make sure you guys vote for the New York Knicks. Randall, Brunson, all the New York Knicks. Randall wasn't even on the first. What was it? The ballot. He wasn't even on the first ballot, Chris.
Yeah.
So
the first batch of results that came out, Julius Randle was nowhere to be seen, which is insane.
Yeah.
This is after he started dropping, 25 plus every single game.
Yeah.
So come on, get our Knicks into the All-Star game, man. Right now it's looking good for Jalen Brunson. Like we mentioned earlier, he was 6th in the East in voting. So let's get Julius on there, man. I think if we get Julius Randle on there, Jalen Brunson out there, I want to hear ESPN say that we have no All-Stars on this team.
Oh, man. I'm tired. I'm tired for ESPN, TNT. We can never do anything that will satisfy them, honestly. We get OG, beat Philly, and they're still talking about, the struggles of the Lakers and this and that, and they're not talking about anything else. But
it really bugs me, man. Like we'll beat Philly and they won't mention a thing.
Yeah,
they'll probably mention something like, "Oh, Embiid tweaked his ankle or something."
I heard of that too. Yeah,
and he still dropped 30. You'll hear that, but you won't hear, "Oh, Knicks played a great game and then took down Philadelphia." It's always the like they interviewed Julius, and I think they asked him a question of why the Knicks don't get the love they should get, and he basically said it in a polite manner, but he basically said, "Hey, it's the cool thing is to hate the Knicks, pretty much, right?"
Yep.
That's basically what I took out of it, but I would love to, just for once, just give us our props, right?
Nah, you know what? Don't. I don't want it. Don't. Keep it up. I love, just don't. And then when we make some noise in the playoffs like we did last season, then everyone will start coming out the woodwork. LV says Brunson is getting a max deal. He is definitely getting a max deal. JB needs $250 million. 5 years, 160 sounds good for OG Anunoby. Yeah, I like 5 years, 160 million for OG Anunoby. It's a valid deal. And I feel like the Knicks can get that done, lock up Hartenstein. Once again, we're also talking about, Mitchell Robinson, what the Knicks do with him. If they're trying to get another star, they're going to haggle over Robinson and Grimes and picks. So, we talked about that as well. But, yeah, man, hit some of these comments before we head up out of here. Once again, appreciate every single one of you tuning in. 130 people in here. Wow. That's love, man. Knicks fam, stand up. Knicks Tonight says, man, stop. OG ain't worth 160 million. Come on. He's going to show you who he is. Windhorse said that it is injuries. That's how Knicks beat Philly. Yeah, Windhorse said that. And I think on the 76ers pod, like one of their YouTube podcasts, I heard that as well. That's why the Knicks beat Philadelphia, that it was, injuries, and they were Tobias Harris, he got hurt, and please. But
come on, man. You still had Joel Embiid out there. I know he wasn't moving great per se, but he still dropped 30. And if you're getting 30 from Embiid, you'd figure that team will find a way, to win that game. Yeah. But Knicks were lights out, man. We played a hell of a defensive game. We deserve props for that one. I don't want to hear that injury crap.
We'll end it on this. Sports Guru says they still say Cavs are better than us after we beat the heck out of them in the playoffs. Point blank, period. Evan says it's been fun. Great show. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. This has been episode 30. If you missed the beginning, obviously we can always, rewind and go back. We talked about a lot today, Chris. Another episode in the books. We are home against Portland next game. Let's get this win. Let's get it done. I'm Anthony. That
Get
is
it.
Chris. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.